Hi again, Nicole Hart here, and in this video I'm going to take a look at how grading works on Formative, how to assign partial credit, how to leave students feedback, maybe give them the opportunity to take a second or third attempt, and we're also going to take a detailed look at the tracker. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at one or two of my previous assignments, and we'll take a look at how we can change scoring and how we can give feedback to students. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm clicking on a specific class period, but you can also click on just the assignment name. But I'm going to click on the class period because I know I want to go to that specific class period. And if you ever need to, you can change your settings by also clicking on that class period. If you want to close it or you want to change how the answers are returned to the students, I'm just going to click on responses, view responses, and it will open it up to my first period class. Now, as you can see, pretty much everybody here did what they were supposed to. There's a few things I want you to see. You have the ability to toggle the assignment to open and close on the left-hand side directly next to the assignment, the class period. There are some green checks and some gray dots also in this column. The green checks means that that assignment was officially submitted. So the student scrolled down to the very bottom of the page and hit submit, and depending on your settings, they may or may not have access to trying again on that assignment. So you might not allow them to edit their answers after they've submitted. Some teachers, like myself, I'll just tell them, don't even submit it, try as much as you want. When it gets closed, you can't submit answers anymore anyway. But you do have to be careful with that, because if they don't answer all of their questions, then their grade might not be accurate. So you can also force submit them or just take into account, you can change from percentage to question over question. So there are 17 questions, so 17 out of 17 would be 100, and you can grade that way. So there's lots of different ways you can sort these. You can also export these into Excel files, which is really helpful if you are tracking specific information or if you are wanting to send a report to a parent. You can do that as well. Now, you can force submit somebody's assignment by clicking on their name, and a preview of all of their answers pop up on the right-hand side. And by clicking the three gray dots, you can hit force submit, and it will automatically mark anything they didn't do as wrong and give you a more accurate reflection of what they did do. Now, another thing that you can do here, I'm going to close that, is assign partial credit or leave feedback to students. So, say looking at student 19 here, they got this question wrong. If I noticed something obvious, like maybe they put the wrong units, maybe this question was in feet and not inches, I could say, double check your units and send that to the student. And they can then go back and look at their work and be like, oh, I totally messed up the units. Okay, I can fix that. Easily done. Or if it's a question that maybe they gave a essay response or a few sentences, or that they showed their work on. If they showed their work on, then you can go and give them feedback on their work as well. You can also assign partial credit by using the slide ruler underneath their name here. And you can also just type in a decimal where it says 0 right now. So those are a few ways that you can modify their grades. If you want to look at a whole class setting for one question, see like 17, question 17, multiple people got this wrong. And so I'm going to click on the question number, and it will open up the entire class period for that one question. And so I can see which people got it wrong. They both got the same answer as well. So what I could do is, using the circle next to their name, I could select both of them and give the same partial credit at the same time instead of doing it individually, and I can give them the same feedback. Now the students on their screen will be able to respond to that feedback, so you can have a dialogue if they got a question wrong about how to fix it. If they need help, maybe ask them to walk you through their steps, or If it needs to be a more in-depth conversation, you can schedule a phone call or meet during class, whatever it may be. So there's lots of ways you can provide partial credit. You can give feedback. You can do a chart to see, oh, well, so many people got this number wrong, or so many people got this question, and graph it out as well. So you can revisit certain questions based on how many students got it right or wrong. If it's a show your work question, so I know this one. So there were several that were show your work that we did within our math class. And let me find one that has work with it. That'll be very helpful. Here we go. So if you did have a show your work feature, whether you had them draw a picture, make a table, or anything like that, you can actually click on that item, and I can leave feedback. I'll change the color so that they can tell the difference between my writing and theirs. And I can say, I can write a sentence or I can type, which I usually find better. I'll draw an arrow or circle and then I will type. Double check your math here. And I can hit this blue check mark, and that will actually get sent, if I hit send, to the student, and they will get that feedback, and then they can go through and check their work. So I think that is an amazing way to give feedback to students, especially in a math or science class where you're doing formulas or something of the sort. Now the tracker is extremely useful as well. So the tracker, I'm going to have to extend the dates because the last 14 days my students haven't been doing any work. So I'm going to take a look at the last 90 days. So that should cover some, and sometimes it needs a little minute to wake up. Yeah, there we go. So you can isolate one student if you need to. So I can click on student 1, and this gives me a snapshot of what they did in the last 90 days. If I need to, I can click on an individual assignment within that and see what happened. I can also, one thing that we'll have parents do is we'll use the snippet tool and maybe screenshot that student's work with the assignment names so the parents can go and verify, which is something that's been really helpful, that parents are like, well, they say they did it. Well, this is what we're seeing. Go and double check. So that's great. You can also export this to an Excel sheet. I find that extremely helpful if you have maybe an upcoming due date. Say you have an assignment due Friday at 3, and I will run a report Thursday night and see how many students have not even started, and they've had multiple days to do it, and then when they wonder why they did so poorly. So there's definitely lots of access for us to be able to help give feedback to our students, give feedback to our parents, and give feedback to ourselves as far as how well we are doing and how accountable we are holding ourselves and our students. So that's really nice. And you can sort this by all of your classes. You can do all students. You can do just one class period. You can do a specific time frame if you would like. And as I said before, there is a ability to tag your standards. I have not done that yet, but if you go through and tag your math standards, your social studies standards, your English standards, you can actually track your results based on those specific questions, not necessarily the whole assignment, but the specific questions in the assignment, which is really helpful. So if you have the same standards through multiple assignments, it gets repeated or revisited, you can see how they grow on those standards as you move through the assignments. So that's really helpful as well. I believe that is everything for now. So I will see y'all in the next video.